What if your e-learning business could not just make money, but serve millions of lives around the world? Well, if you have a mission and you are driven by it, this is the episode for you today. I'm going to share with you my 3-step process to help you ultimately impact millions of lives worldwide with your business, harnessing the power of e-learning. Step 1, create an impossible goal that has a global mission. What does this mean? This means that the goal that you and your organization has needs to seem impossible. If it doesn't seem impossible, it is not big enough, to quote Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Impossible goals create global impact. So in order for you to even start on the right foot in building your e-learning business, building your learning experience business, you need to start with an impossible goal. For example, my amazing VIP coaching client, Mario, in Australia. Together, we have crafted his impossible goal to halve the world suicide rate in the next 3 years. You can probably imagine that in order to achieve this goal, we have to think differently. Years ago, when he first purchased eLearning Simplified Academy, he was serving individuals with his support over suicide program. This means that he was focused on serving this program B2C, direct to individual. Well, after working on this for a number of years and creating his impossible goal of halving the world suicide rate in the next 3 years by 2028, he decided that there is a better pathway to achieve this goal. Instead of going B2C or 1-to-1, the better route is to go B to B, or 1 to hundreds, or thousands, or tens of thousands. And the only way we were able to get here was because of his impossible goal. Now, I will not take credit for this strategy of using impossible goals to make drastic change in the present. Dr. Benjamin Hardy has written many books about this. One, which I believe is the best one written about this right now, is The Science of Scaling. I highly recommend that you grab your copy, and you can even get it for free on his website, scaling.com. The whole point here is if you want global impact, you need to have an impossible global vision. My impossible goal with e-learning partners is to serve 100 million people worldwide by supporting mission-driven organizations using learning to change the world. This could mean using learning to save lives, like Mario's support over suicide program. This could mean using learning to create opportunities, or even using learning to spread hope. And the only way I am able to serve 100 million people is by coaching and partnering with organizations like Mario's, like CoStar Group, who is serving thousands of college students every year, thousands of professionals every year, and giving them job opportunities by serving them with powerful certifications in the hospitality industry. So the only way I am able to serve hundreds of millions of people is by partnering with mission-driven organizations serving hundreds, thousands, and millions of people, so we can do it together. Step 2, use this goal to to change your mindset. If your mindset is not changing, if you are not thinking differently about how to create global impact, then you have not set the right goal. Once you set the right goal, you will be able to use it to change your mindset. Now, I already shared with you the science of scaling. I do have a couple other books that I highly recommend that you check out and read, also by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. 10x is easier than 2x, and be your future self now. The reason why I love these books so much and the work of Dr. Benjamin Hardy is because all of his writing, all of his work is backed by psychology. It is backed by the science of psychology. And that is why this 3-step process starts with setting the right goal. Because I know that you have lots of goals. So do I. But I also know that my goals don't always make me think differently. Typically, we either set goals with too long of a time frame, so 5 years, 10 years, or we set goals that we could simply just double our efforts to achieve. When we set clear and possible goals and don't give ourselves a decade to achieve them, we give ourselves 90 days, 6 months, a year, 3 years. Really, your impossible goal should not be greater than 3 years. Anything greater than 3 years is far enough in the future that your mind isn't going to change enough. Your mindset is not going to adapt enough to create pathways, to think of pathways to achieve the goal. Before we move on to step 3, I invite you to pause this video and really take some time to set your impossible goal and set it in a way that step 2, you're going to be able to change your mindset. Once you do that, we move on to step 3, which is install the ASAP method into your business. What is the ASAP method? Well, the ASAP method is what I use with my VIP coaching clients and my partnership clients to completely change their businesses. I guide my coaching clients through my ASAP method, and I partner with and implement my ASAP method with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator clients. And I'm going to share it with you today. The first A stands for audit. Some of you may know that before I started eLearning Partners, I was an IT auditor for PricewaterhouseCoopers. And how I spent my time at PwC was we would go in and actually audit the IT systems, specifically the accounting systems of these large enterprises. And the goal was to really assess how the systems were working, how people were working in the systems. And, we're an accounting firm, so we really looked at how safe the data was, how accurate the accounting data was, and making sure that the separation of duties was in store in these systems. Well, what I've done is I've taken this concept of auditing and have brought it to eLearning. So really, with the A in ASAP, our goal is to start uncovering hidden costs and missed opportunities in your business. Now, this is extremely important when we look at scaling globally with your company powered by eLearning. Because if you are already spending too much in different areas and not seeing the opportunities in other areas, then your company has wasted resources that what we can do together is funnel them into the right things. A lot of times when companies are looking at impacting globally, it's a matter of money. Do we have enough money to do it? Well, with our audit, we are able to uncover that savings. And that's why my number one goal with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership clients is to save them 6 figures or more per year even after paying our fee. Because our goal is to empower you to not only pay for our services, but achieve your goals like global impact. And this is exactly what I've done with CoStars. Even after paying me and e-learning partners, CoStar is saving multiple six figures per year, millions over time. And that's why we start with an audit. Next, we get to the S, simplify. So once we audit and we find those opportunities and we uncover those hidden costs, we want to simplify your business. The simpler your business is, the easier it's going to be to achieve your impossible goal and have global impact. So what we really want to do is eliminate the complexity. And we do this by focusing on the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. Or, as one of my mentors, Graham Cochran, talks about, the 60-4-4 rule. Well, I talk about this a lot on this show and on my YouTube channel. What this is data shows that 20% of your efforts drives 80% of your results in your business. Same thing in your e-learning programs. Same thing in life. 20% of efforts drives 80% of results, and vice versa. 80% of efforts drives 20% of results. Well, if we take this one step further, what's 20% of 20%? 4%. And what's 80% of 80%? 64%. What is the 60-4-4 rule? Well, 4% of efforts drive 64% of results. And 64% of efforts drive 4% of results. Where would you rather be? The 4%. So when we simplify your business and we simplify your e-learning programs, and really you should do this for your whole business, not just for your e-learning and training programs, your learning experience programs. When you start focusing all your efforts on the 4% or even on the 20%, you will exponentially grow your business. You will globally grow your business. And that's why we always start with that audit, so we can uncover what we should be spending our time on. And then we move to simplify. Let's get to the second A, automate. Once we simplify, we want to automate everything we can. So we eliminate first, that's why we simplify, and then we automate the rest. How do we do that? Well, we integrate technology and AI to do the heavy lifting. What does this empower us to do? This empowers us to not have to overhire for growth. When you are looking at growing globally, it could get very stressful thinking, oh gosh, I need a whole team on this. I need to hire a bunch of people. Oh, but what if we hire a bunch of people and we don't get ROI out of it? That's why we audit, we simplify, and then we automate. Because by empowering you and your team to partner with technology, partner with AI, we're able to make your team more efficient and effective. Then we can pay them more, because it costs to hire someone and pay them $100,000 a year. Costs on average $150,000 to hire. You can pay $150,000, and it's going to take them about a year to become productive. Versus taking your best performing players on your team, paying them more, and encouraging them and putting systems in place and automating the tasks they shouldn't be doing and having them really lean into their zone of genius. You'll be able to scale your global learning business, your global e-learning business much faster, and you'll be able to get ROI in your business much faster to support the growth. That's why we automate. And this brings us to the P. What do you think it is? Profit. This is where we scale globally and compound ROI. And this is what we do for are Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership clients. And this is why at eLearning Partners, I partner with a few mission-driven organizations every year, creating global impact. So what do we do with profit? Well, each of these funnels into the next one. So we reinvest our profit into our business. And that is how we get exponential global returns. Because what we want to do is invest the profit we have into what's working. Well, we have to make sure that what we were doing before is still working, which is why we always come back to the first letter in the ASAP method, audit. Then we go down, we simplify, we automate more, we profit more, we reinvest it back into the business. Now, every year I partner with a few organizations with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator program, where myself and my team at eLearning Partners goes in and implements my ASAP method in the business. Why is it called the ASAP method? Well, because the organizations that partner with us get their return on their investment ASAP when we instill this method in their business. CoStar was able to recoup their entire investment in eLearning Partners in less than 8 months. And now they're compounding their savings to millions of dollars over time. And you can too by partnering with me and my company with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator program. And to give you a jump start on simplifying your e-learning for global impact, I invite you to check out my free e-learning platform finder. What I find when we audit an organization's business, we find a lot of waste. And part of that is on the technology side, where organizations making about $50 million a year in revenue are overspending on their e-learning technology 5 to 200 times. They're spending $50K to $1 million per year just on technology, when they should be spending $5K to $10K. This is crazy. And this is why I have my e-learning platform finders, so that you don't have to wait to get this savings. All you have to do is answer a few simple questions, and I will pair you with the perfect e-learning platform to empower you to grow globally and save 5 to 200 times on your technology alone. And you can check that out in the description on YouTube or in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. And I'll see you in the next episode.